to the UK. We were Elsper before that. I don't know whether anybody's heard of Elsper, but that was the Association for the Publishers of Video Games, historically boxed products developed and sold through shops. We recognise that the industry is supplying more and more of its products online and through different platforms. So, whereas it used to be PC and a couple of consoles and maybe Game Boy handheld, now there are multiple ways in which people can access and play interactive experiences. It's not just video games, it's health and fitness and singing and loads of the stuff that you're doing. So the challenge for us and for our industry was we were being asked more and more by policymakers and the media and stakeholders to comment and represent this ever-growing area of interest, and we need to expand our membership base to ensure that we reflect the change in the marketplace. So our key three areas of activity are political representation, making sure that the policymakers understand what our industry is, how it's evolving, what its needs are. And I guess some of the key hot issues for us at the moment are around broadband infrastructure, wireless technology, the whole communications infrastructure, if we put it like that. As more and more people now communicate and do business and play through the internet, wireless connections, 3G and so forth, that has to be big enough, bold enough, fast enough to sustain that growing business sector. So that's really important. Otherwise, that's going to stifle the potential development opportunity, both in terms of a consumer experience, but also from a business perspective, because the business is not just done locally, but internationally, and you'll recognise that, particularly in the world that you're working. Then there is the issues that evolve out of that connected online world, particularly around child safety and security of privacy and data online. So we're wrestling with all of those issues from a regulatory perspective. And again, those are not just locally based, but also transcend borders as well. The third main regulatory issue would be around how do you secure the value in the content that you create, IP protection, piracy, file sharing, and all of those issues. Is it done through legal measures, technical measures, or business solutions, i.e. potentially give the stuff away for nothing but charge for something else? Where do you create your value and secure the revenue for your business, not necessarily paying for every download or every use or whatever. And again, I guess some of your businesses will be looking at those issues and struggling with trying to work out how to do that. Potentially one of the advantages that you have is that you're not saddled with a business infrastructure that was built on and predicated on an old business world that revolved around physical products being shipped out to stores, but it has developed fundamentally from a digital world. So you start from the right place. But potentially thinking about what challenges you may face in 5 or 10 or 15 years when the digital world moves to the next stage. There'll be a number of evolutions, and I'm sure that the world we live in today won't be the world that we live in a few years, as indeed it wasn't a few years back. So that's the sort of political and regulatory issue. There is a communications issue to consumers and the general public, so that they understand. Many of our younger audience clearly are growing up in a digital world. They understand the marketplace. They will probably understand far better what you've just told me of your businesses than I do. because that's the world that they occupy. But for parents and for policymakers and for other stakeholders, they don't understand what it is that we're talking about, what the potential is in terms of employment and exploitation of the workforce both in this country and overseas, and what the opportunities are for consumers to consume, and how will the entertainment world develop and grow in the coming months and years. So there's a big task of work to do there, and we do a lot of that work in conjunction with our members, who are obviously at the cutting edge. And the advantage, therefore, for them to be part of the association is that they get their businesses promoted and give them exposure. Many people have indicated that it is cheaper to do business through the internet than it was through retail. But the big challenge is voice, is visibility, is exposure. And so anything that helps businesses get that is good. So, you know, we act not as the primary sales function, of course, but, you know, as part of that process of stimulating new market opportunities, stimulating new innovative businesses and business opportunities. And then the third thing that we do is to make sure that we help the companies that are in membership by looking at where we can add value by delivering services and support that works better for the majority or a collection of members than them trying to do that on their own. Historically, one of the key things that we've done is to collect data on products that have been sold, compile those, or compute and compile those and produce those as reports and a database that members can access. You know, they can all ring up their retail outlets and get their data, their number themselves, but they can't get the whole market picture. So, you know, that has historically been one of the key things that we do, and we're now migrating that work to see how we replicate that in a digital world around digital download, digital supply, user data, and all of those metrics in that area. So that's a key thing. Networking is clearly very important, and I'm sure that after you've been here for 10 days, you know, and as Karen has said, you know, the value that you will get out of being together and the relationships that you build, not only with each other but those that you meet, hopefully will stay with you and be invaluable for you in the coming months and years. And again, as a trade association, those sorts of partnerships and networking opportunities are hugely valuable. Some of the other things, very briefly, that we do, we support the London Games Festival, which is a promotional event. Again, it's an umbrella that our members can benefit from. We support something called the Edinburgh Interactive Festival, which is a cultural and blue skies thinking event that takes place in August in Edinburgh, and we'll be developing other activities and support. Finally, I guess we network with the other creative industries and the trade associations that operate in those areas, which again provides intelligence and networking opportunities for our members. So that's a very brief introduction, but probably enough of me speaking at you, and probably now's the time to have a dialogue. I don't know what time you want to work to, Karen, and where you've got to go to next.
We don't have anything after this.
You don't have anything after this. I do have something I need to get out. It's now 4:30. If we can go to, say, 5:15, is that sufficient for you?
That's fine with everybody else, yeah.
Okay, so I know there's lots of you. I mean, we may finish sooner, you know. From what Ian said, I doubt it. So, I don't know how you want to run this, how you've done it.
Well, we haven't really. This is the first
one.
Yes, so I don't know if you want to sort of, does anyone any questions or?
The question is, how can you help us, and how can we help you with your politic and strategy of, you know, growing, increasing, getting new members, getting new clients, helping you and helping us as well?
Well, I guess from our perspective, actually having some more detailed visibility on the work that you're doing, feeding that into Dan, would be very, very helpful.